Going to be a quick little video just showing how I lay out a sheath for individual knives. First I'm going to come out and I'm going to lay the knife on the sheath where I know there's plenty enough to do both sides of the sheath. And I'll come in and I'll trace out around the blade, part of the handle, as much as I want to actually be inside the sheath. I'm only going to leave this spalted part up out of the sheath. And then what I'll do is I'll come back, trace about a 1/2 inch off the belly of the blade, come back, and I typically do a friction fit sheath. So I'll do a little offset there, give the sheath a little bit of shape, bring it across here. I'll come about a 1/2 inch off the top of the sheath, not quite, maybe about 3/8, and I'll do another line there. Now this is going to allow for that to fold over the knife, and then I'll get a rough idea of the shape there. Then I'll come over here and I'll actually cut out this part. Now this you're going to want to run across, because this section here will be what you cut out for the welt. See? You'll cut a welt to fit that section right there. Area that's kind of shaded right here. This will be where your welt's going to go. Now what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll cut that out, and then I'll cut for the belt loop to come straight on up. Then I will fold this over and trace this over here on this side. Now this gives me a rough idea of where this should sit and end right around in here. Okay, so go ahead and quickly cut this out. Now, let's see. I can also come in with my Japanese skiving knife, allow me to work a little faster right in here. Alright. So I'll cut across right there. I don't know why in the world this thing keeps shutting off the actual light. Now I'll come in with one of my half rounds and actually round this off and bring this down just a little bit more. But right now this helps me be able to lay things out. Now, as I was saying, I want this to be the center, so when I fold it, paying attention that that is actually the center. So I'll come over here and I'll trace out here. And see, now this should have been down a little bit more, but yeah, that gives me about the, about the same 1/2 inch right here. And then simply what I'll do is bring this on over. Make sure this thing's still videoing. Okay. Yep, it's still recording. Alright. Come in with the half round. And you're going to get a little bounce off the table on this. Lay it over, match it up. Will show me where that half round is going to go. Come in with it. Alright, now to lay out my welts, simply come over to like a piece that I cut the outside off of, and I will, let's see, there's my pencil, mark over about a ½ inch, come in, now, this will get glued in as the welt, and then I'll trim any excess. Well, actually I can come close to it now. But then when I sand the outside of the welt after it's all glued together, that'll clean that up. That'll give me something that this knife will sit nice and snug in. While it folds around it. And then before I glue in the welt and all, I'll actually round this off, round these in, bring this down just a little bit to accommodate for that. Fold this over. It'll actually get cut back to somewhere around in here, and it'll get stitched down here. That'll leave room for at least a 2-inch belt. Well, I should say at the most a 2-inch belt. And I will skive this down, thin out the section that's going to get stitched, tapering it down, so when I glue it and then stitch it, it's not a huge standoff. Then I'll glue in the welt. I'll glue the two pieces together, stitch the outside of that. But before I do that, I'm going to lay out the design tool lit. Y'all have seen me lay out the tool designs before, so I'll come back and show you the sheath after it's been tooled and dyed, and then I'll get back with the stitching. Alright, it's dry to the touch, so now I'm just going to fold it over, make sure that the whole area that I glued and roughed up is covered. And there it is. That's good solid hold. Now I can come in and punch it, throw a piece of scrap leather underneath so that I don't end up tearing up my old cutting mat more than I have to. I'm going to be getting a new one soon. It's in dire need of it, and I'm going to get a bigger one. I just come a little bit off the edge, about an 1/8 inch or so. Follow it on around. Get over here. Pardon me. And that'll do for that. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is get ready to glue the welt in before I do stitching. My wife out there fussing at one of the chickens that's crowing. She's trying to listen to a video. Now, there's that part. And yes, I went just a little bit wider than the actual welt is, but that's because you're going to want it to have good full contact all the way across so that the welt doesn't separate or get where the knife can slide behind it and end up cutting stitches. So, again, 20 minutes and I'll be back. Fourth time trying to do this. I will not be able to get the footage because once the contact cement has dried and I put the welt together, you got to tear the leather apart to get it apart. So I'm not going to do that and ruin the sheath. But I had placed contact cement on the welt and then on the piece of leather on the insides where I would bring them together. Waited the 20 minutes for it to dry to where I could actually adhere it, and then put it together and just came down with a mallet and tapped it. But from there, now we will I'll go out and grind this smooth on the belt sander so that it's nice and even and all. Then I will score the line for the stitching and then use the irons to prick the holes. I'll come back once I go to do that. As you can see, I've got the welt smoothed out nice. And I can come in with my dividers, scribe the line, the stitching, do both sides. There we go. will be some bounce on the camera. I apologize for that in advance. Some leather back behind this to offset a little bit of the where the belt loop holds up the back. Get right inside the groove. Actually, let me come down just a hair. And you see how just down a little bit from the top of the welt here. I use beeswax to help keep the irons from sticking. And after you've got those, you just come down, placing the one iron in the last hole. I guess these are actually diamond punch chisels, not pricking irons. See, what I'm doing is just go through. Make sure that you're getting lined up in that groove. See, that way they're actually running straight. Keep the pieces waxed up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but see where the holes are actually diamond shaped and they're angled. That's what helps get your stitching to lay the way that it's supposed to for hand stitching, doing saddle stitches. Now with this gradual bend, actually, let me go ahead and do it this way because it'll look a little cleaner. What I am going to do is I'm going to come right here and mark on the side right here. Because when I go to come back to do this one, I'll run the larger iron down to that. And I'll know that's the transition point to move to the smaller iron. I'll bring this on around the bend or the belly if it was on the blade. Now where I can run a straight. Oh yeah, that's straight enough. I can move back to the large iron. backtracking to mark over here on the side of this to show the transition again between the 2-prong to the 6-prong. So I'll now run the 6-prong down to here on this back side, run the 2-prong to here on the back side, and then finish out. Now what I do is I just simply come in with an ice pick, punch through my ends to get my start and finish mark. A little bit of beeswax on there. And then I'll come back and run these. So then I'll go, and actually my wife's going to do the hand stitching while I work on something else. I know that y'all seen some transition between what's on my wrist and shirt and stuff. I apologize, but I've spent the past month battling walking pneumonia, so I really hadn't been able to do a lot, and I've been getting at this when I could. Finally going to get it finished up today and get the video edited and uploaded. Should be tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, October 8th, I believe. And then I'm also going to be uploading a video from October 5th. It was the first day that I was actually able to get out and do something. We had an local event at for our county, the Chambers County Outdoor Expo, and I went and did a couple little demonstrations, and I'll upload a video of one of those. So I'll come back and show you the finished product after I've got it stitched and then edge dressed and everything. See you then.